The Will You Grow Show goes live Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. To receive notifications, click the subscribe button beneath this video, or visit YouTube's Will You Grow channel to see more shows and videos. And now, here's Will You founder Angelique Medow with this week's Will You Grow Show.
Welcome to the Will You Grow Show. How are you? My name is Angelique, and I'm here to ignite your inner courage to liberate yourself from limitations. I'm the founder of Will You and WillYouGrow.com, an inspirational multimedia company that provides personal growth and joy through education, conversations, and adventures. Our weekly grow shows like the one you're watching today begin by tackling touchy subjects that'll tickle your tempestuous thoughts, fan your eternal flame, and salve your soul with hope. Halfway through, we'll take a 60-second look at what people have to say about us and share any new goodies that we've created just for you. Then we'll hear the crew's perspective and go hands-on to talk fun tips and tools to begin implementing today's lesson into your life. Here in the studio with me today are our audio aficionado, Ben.
Hello.
And our video Santa, Neil.
Happy November to all.
They help make this show happen, doing anything and everything to make it successful. Today's episode is brought to you by Life and Nature, who keep our hearts beating and our world turning. We say thank you to Life, Nature, and each and everyone who brings these shows to you. We also thank each and every viewer, and especially those who hit the like button, share button, and subscribe buttons today. We're grateful and glad that all of you are here. Now, on to today's episode. Are you clairaudient? Are you sensitive to sounds? Do you sometimes hear what people say moments before they speak those exact words? Do you hear intuitive messages in your mind that may have opposed your logic? Do you hear layers of sound, like the hum of a refrigerator, under the swooping sound of the ceiling fan spinning, under the chirping birds outside, under the gripping of a car's rubber tires on the pavement, under the music or a TV show, under the talking of another person, under the sound of your own thoughts? Well, if so, you may experience a type of intuitive extrasensory perception called clairaudience. Is clairaudience intuition? 3 weeks ago, we talked about intuition as a source of connection to all information. There are 4 main types and 7 total ways that we are aware of to receive intuitive extrasensory perception. They are clairsentience, which we discussed 2 weeks ago, which means clear feeling. Clairvoyance, which we discussed last week, which means clear seeing. And clairaudience, which we'll discuss today. There is also claircognizance and lessly common known clairgustant, clairalient, and clairtangency. We're discussing each of these over the following weeks and have live group discussions about our experiences with these forms of intuition every Friday, and I'll share more about that in a bit. Intuition is important because each type of intuition is a means for us to receive vital information for survival, health, prosperity, and happiness of ourselves, others, and the world. When we know which forms of intuition are most prominent for us, we can tune our awareness to that wisdom and truth. This allows us to sense danger and opportunities, giving ourselves more peace, vitality, and freedom without requiring other people and things to aid or validate us. It's important to note that intuition and its varying forms are not just for the gifted. These forms of intuition are the gifts for us all, really. Really, I mean that these gifts are for all of us. How good we are at receiving it is just a matter of whether or not we choose to be aware, be open to receive, accept it, and do something with it. So what is clairaudience? Clairaudience is psychic hearing. Merriam-Webster defines clairaudience as the power or faculty of hearing something not present to the ear, but regarded as having objective reality. It's a natural ability to hear audible messages in the mind's ear. I call it the mind's ear because it's much like the physical hearing, but clairaudient hearing isn't just meaningless chatter in the mind. It is purposeful and/or factual in that it often states or projects truths and outcomes. For example, we might hear a message in our mind's ear telling of a possible outcome for something, or a warning to avoid something, or a truth about something or someone. So you might be wondering, what's the difference between clairaudience and mental instability? I will read an excerpt about this as written by Joseph Frankel in The Atlantic on June 27th of 2017. Quote, "A lot of the time, if someone says they hear voices, you immediately jump to psychotic illness, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia," unquote, Philip Corlett, a psychologist at Yale, said. Quote, "But research suggests hearing voices is not all that uncommon," unquote. The anthropologist Tanya Luhrmann, who has studied voice hearing in the psychiatric and religious context, has written that, quote, "Historical and cultural conditions affect significantly the way mental anguish is internally expressed and socially expressed," unquote, noting that there is no question that psychological distress and schizophrenia are real phenomena that call for treatment. Luhrmann adds, quote, that the way a culture interprets symptoms may affect an ill person's prognosis. Every psychiatrist which is she, spoke to shared the belief that unusual behavior, such as clairaudience or clear hearing of voices or words, should only enter into the realm of diagnosis, which is calling it an ism, a disease, a mental illness, when it causes suffering, unquote. So once again, every psychiatrist she spoke to shared the belief that unusual behavior should only enter the realm of diagnosis when it causes suffering. So from my perspective, if you're wondering if it might sound scary to hear voices in our head, don't let fear hold you back from knowing what's true. Here's what I've gleaned about the difference between clairaudience and mental instability from my 50 years of experience. The difference between hearing insane voices and hearing intuitive messages is grounding. What I mean by grounding is that it is grounded in reality. For example, a reality-based, grounded, clairaudient, intuitive message will not be accompanied by emotions and will not be accompanied by mental constructs such as anxiety, paranoia, escapism, excitement, drama, guilt, pain, shame, and any resulting psychological disorder. Grounded, clairaudient messages will not instruct us to do immoral, customarily defined as criminal acts. Rather, when one hears a clairaudient message, it's like hearing clear statements as facts, almost like looking at a math equation. So here are a handful of my recent examples of clairaudience and intuition. Each week, I ask intuitively about what topic to present during the show. When I asked last week about the topic to be presented this week, I heard the word clairaudience, hence today's topic. Then throughout the week, life presented circumstances that complemented the topic, and I share those with you now. So many sizes and shapes of today's creature that we'll be speaking of later, and Neil will announce, bounced onto my windows this week, and several appeared in my house. That's how I knew it needed to be included in today's show. Today's flower bloomed in my yard. Today's plant, which you can't see here but will be shown later, was what I clearly felt that I needed to buy at the store and ingest. And I received a powerful, clairaudient message, which I will share with you now. Now, please don't think that all clairaudient messages will be like this, because most of them will not. Most clairaudient messages will be light and easy, like the scent of a flower on an easy summer breeze. But today's example is one powerful and urgent message. On Wednesday, around 8:15 in the morning, I had just finished an email, made a cup of organic tea to accompany my fresh cut apple and warm granola, and was preparing to settle in and write the notes for today's topic. I had some music playing with some deep bass Arabian beats. It wasn't loud per se, but the sound would mask out some sounds outside. Startlingly, I heard this noise. Now beware if you're wearing headphones. The noise was, "Hey!" As if it was about 3 feet away and outside a single pane glass window, and also completely clear and loud in my mind. It was in both places. Clairsentiently, which is my clear feeling sensitivity, I felt that this was someone calling out to someone needing something. I waited on whether I would hear it again. Maybe 15 seconds went by and I heard, "Hey!" At that point, I needed more information, so I calmly held and focused on that feeling of the word and that voice in my being. I connected with how the man felt who was yelling. He was not in pain. He was not in immediate danger. He needed help, and he was alone. He was not needing medical care. The feeling was urgency. So I could have asked for more information at that point, but claircognizantly, which is clear knowing, I sensed that I had enough information to move forward. So I agreed with myself that I would put aside my own work and my own hunger and any logic, put on my shoes, and find the man. Now, logically, I thought, maybe the man was working at the house that is being built down the street from me, because the day before there were guys working on the roof. I thought, well, maybe one of the guys fell. Well, logic proved wrong. I arrived at the street in front of the partially built house and I saw no workers. In case there may have been a man stranded in the back or inside the house, I connected with all my clear senses to know if the man was anywhere around the house. The immediate feeling was emptiness. I heard the word no, and I just knew that he was at an unknown distance of a walk down the street. This took maybe 10 seconds to gather this information while I was standing in front of the partially built house. I walked at a heavy trot, kind of like when you're at the airport, not when you're running to say, I'm going to miss it, of the airplane departing. It's that kind of heavy walk when you're like, if I really book it, I'm going to make it. So I went about a quarter mile away from my house and heard the yell again. This time, I was close enough to the physical body and voice of the man that I could clairsentiently feel the vibration of his voice in my body. This guided me toward him in the direction of where he was, through some trees and down to the river. And there was a 40-ish-year-old man, the distance about a half a football field away from me, sitting on a jet ski in the middle of a fork in the river without the motor running. Now, mind you, it was about 45 degrees outside and he was wearing shorts. We yelled back and forth and he let me know, just pointing, and a few yells, that the motor was dead and his friends were waiting for him another quarter mile down the river. I let him know that I'd either get them or I'd get help, whichever I found first, and I took off on my next trot. I saw a man down the street who said he had a small boat parked down on the river. He grabbed his buddy and the two of them walked toward the boat, and they went to locate the man who was on his jet ski and were going to haul him to his friends. So that is definitely an example of an extreme clairaudient message. That is after many, many years of experience and practice that could be accomplished in a very short period of time. Whereas in the beginning, I might have doubted what I heard, thought maybe someone was playing a game, made all kinds of excuses for why I didn't need to go down there or shouldn't go down there. But at this point in my experience, I know what I know, what I know, and it's a matter of following the intuition rather than doubting it. Could you be clairaudient? Here are 8 tips to know if you are clairaudient. 1. You hear nearly everything, spoken or unspoken. A fly in the attic, you hear it. A murmuring in-law 12 states away, if you tap into their energy, or if they're thinking of you, you hear that too. Number 2, loud sounds make you want to crawl out of your skin from discomfort. You keep TVs and radios at low to mid-range, a level that is too low for other people to clearly hear. Number 3, you hear people's spoken words and their unspoken feelings in words. And any inconsistency can generate feelings of discomfort from within you. Number 4, you can recognize distinct types of cars, birds, voices, etc. by their sound from far distances away. Number 5, you're good at impersonating sounds.
Haha.
Santa Neil?
Oh, me.
You're the impersonator.
Oh.
You Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. The late, great Sean Connery. Money penny.
Exactly. Number 6, you are drawn to a profession in sound and have an intimate relationship with music. Ben?
I am drawn to that, yeah. I'm fascinated by just sound in general.
You are in the right career. Number 7, when you think of a person, you hear their voice. Number 8, you can internally ask a question of a person, animal, plant, etc., and internally hear the answers and also externally confirm that it's true. So why would we ignore clairaudient truth? Well, we might ignore clairaudient truth if we feel inherently afraid of losing control. We may be in our limited mindset and only want the thoughts that our mind generates to get our attention. We might also feel afraid of the vast capability to know anything and the sheer vastness of the amount of information available. And we might be afraid of whatever we may need to change once we hear and know the truth. But fear keeps us stuck. Maybe no one we know talks about intuition or intuitive guidance, and we're afraid of being different. Maybe we're afraid of being ostracized for our ability to hear clearly. Maybe we're afraid that other people will think or say that we're crazy. If we're focused on those things, well, we'll be stuck. It's our choice. But I choose to focus on curiosity about the real, interesting, limitless truth available to all of us through intuition. So to return to the example of the man who was stranded on the jet ski, each of us has been or will be stranded in some way or another at some point during our life. Will anyone hear us cry, asking for help? If you've already been stranded, did anyone hear you cry? If someone did, you were lucky and blessed. For many people, this is simply not the case, and they wither as souls and may even commit suicide. In the example of the guy on the jet ski, there were probably 40 or 50 houses in a diameter right around him that extended the distance of my house. Yet only one person either heard or tended to his cry for help because she is clairaudient. and because she chose to listen, and because she chose to develop her gifts. So what if we were all open to clear hearing? Would suicides plummet? What might have happened if I ignored the clairaudient cry, or decided that I was too busy, or that I just didn't want to go look? As Gandhi said, we must be the change that we wish to see in the world. We can't all just talk about how great it would be if everyone around us would stop impairing themselves with drugs, alcohol, food, phones, video games, and fear. If we actually want to be real and honest and connect with other real, honest people, animals, and intuitive information, someone has to do it. And that someone is me and a lot of other someones. The question is, will you? Intuitive clairaudient information is available to each of us. The clear hearing that is available to us by means of the Holy Spirit and God within us needs to be uncovered, honored, and cherished. So why develop our clairaudience? Clairaudience gives us a real, powerful edge to know what was, what is, and what will happen. It brings us vital information. It might forewarn us of a car accident. It may inspire us to take positive action and do or say something that could lead to a wonderful, joyful, meaningful experience in life and love. It's a solid, stable connection to truth. And it's a powerful sense of peace. Personally, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Is it possible to hone our clairaudience to access more information? I have found that with practice, yes, it is possible to hone our clairaudience and other forms of intuition even amidst chaotic external circumstances. In the beginning, it can be challenging since being disconnected from intuition is a habit that needs to be broken just like any other addiction. And that's the way we need to treat disconnection. Like a bad habit that kills our satisfaction, our peace, happiness, and connection to ourselves, others, and everything. So here are 16 ways to explore and develop your clairaudience. There are innumerable ways to hone clairaudience. Try some of these out and find some that might work for you, or explore and find your own. Number 1, be aware. That means not doing things that make us unaware, such as alcohol, drugs, unhealthy foods, spending time in low vibe environments, etc. These limit or block our ability to receive and be aware. Number 2, be open to receive. That means allowing truth, which means not fearing it or pushing it away, or desiring a specific truth and needing it. Number 3, accept it. That means knowing it fully. It means not limiting our capacity for truth by fearing, denying, repressing, or suppressing. Number 4, do something with it. Because just like you, if you regularly offer advice to someone who never applies it, you stop offering it and walk away. I've found that the same is true of intuitive guidance. It's not gone if we quit listening and applying it, but if I don't use it, it's like a muscle and it atrophies. Number 5, practice makes confidence. Keep exploring and noticing what you notice. Allow yourself to be inwardly pleased about your choice to learn. Number 6, develop the other forms of intuition, because by using many forms together, it's validating and solidifying, providing even more details and greater accuracy. Number 8, take care of yourself in general, because the healthier, happier, and less stressed we are, the more open we are to new information. Number 9, Trust that we're cared for, protected, and that it's okay, regardless what information we receive. Number 10, ask internally before sharing clairaudient information with others. At times, the information received is just for you, and people may not be at all ready or willing to hear what you have to say. Number 11, accept that other people may not understand, and drop the complex about it. To use an everyday example, whatever your expertise may be, you don't expect people to understand the technicalities of your work, do you? Then stop seeking validation about your intuitive gifts as well. Number 12, know, respect, and fulfill the highest purpose. Like any tool, intuitive gifts may be used to spread education and enjoyment or fear and destruction. Choose well, because secrets are temporary and consequences cannot be avoided. Number 13, don't try. Trying is born from a fear of not being capable. Instead of trying, simply allow ourselves to freely receive intuitive information without fear or criticism. Number 14 is an affirmation. Are you ready to affirm this with me? Ready? I go with the flow of divine guidance. Great. Number 15, meditate. Because it's like vitamins for the body. It's a blanket of protection from stress. It maintains health and reduces the stress that can block us from hearing guidance. Number 16, spend time in nature, not thinking, because it can help us hear the many layers of sound and the messages between the sounds. It's a great place to practice in nature. Support for learning and live Zoom meetings are now available. There are lots more tips such as breathing, nutrition, exercise, sleep, self-care, etc. And there's a whole lot of great information available about the topics of clairaudience and intuition. Doing it alone can be challenging. Join us for live Zoom support every Friday from noon to 1 Eastern Time. We'll share the intuitive experiences that we have during that week and questions that we encountered as we applied the tips to hone our intuition. Now, if you're opposed to group learning, join us anyway. Why, you might ask? Well, the lessons that you'll learn by listening and exploring the experiences of others will be invaluable to you. Also, it's a place that's free of judgment, criticism, and bullying, so you are free to experience and share without fear. And you can count on it because I'll be leading the meetings to give extra tips and tools and make sure that no one's storytelling takes over the meeting. I'll also make sure we stay on task and spur you on to grow. And group meetings are much less expensive than one-on-one mentoring. To register, go to the description box and click Group Growth via Zoom. Then donate at least $30 per month to attend all meetings for as long and as often as you wish, and you may cancel at any time. So get registered and get on the ball. Just go to the description box and click Group Growth via Zoom. I also recommend reading Laura Day's book, titled Practical Intuition. It's the first book I used as I began developing my intuitive abilities in my 20s, and it has helped me tremendously. It's easy to read and has fun exercises. To buy the book, you can find a link in our description box. So will you hone your clairaudience? We'll take a 60-second break to turn it over to you to consider. When we come back, we'll hear what the crew has to say about today's topic and talk tips and tools to be more clairaudient by means of Mother Nature.
The Will You Grow show will now take 60 seconds to check in with you. If you're wondering how to apply a Grow Show topic to your life, here's what people say about mentoring with Angelique.
One of Angelique's gifts is, first of all, to be so in touch with herself and with nature that she can see what truth is. that I think maybe can escape people at times.
She looks right through you and sees what's inside of you.
I think she just sensed that I was very uptight with my emotions, and she's been able to guide me and help me know those emotions.
This is your girl. Self-care is not selfish. If you really want to dig deep and stop living on the surface, then schedule a conversation with Angelique.
Introducing something new from Will You Grow? The Group Grow Show discussion. Join Angelique each Friday at noon Eastern Time to discuss your questions about the show topics and ways to apply the tips. To register, just go to the description box, then click the link for Group Grow. Give your gift of $30 per month or more, and we'll email you a thank you, along with a link to join the Friday meetings. We look forward to seeing you at the new Group Grow Show discussion. If you'd like to buy the book Angelique described in today's show, it's available to purchase by following the link in the description box. By purchasing through that link, you will be supporting your own learning, the publisher, and Will You. Just click the link in the description box to buy your book about practical intuition.
Welcome back. And now let's hear what the crew has to say about today's topic.
I'm interested to hear if you, Ben, feel more clairaudient.
I don't think I've heard like messages the same way, like we talked about. My mom saw the
Right.
car thing, and you had a automobile thing also, or warnings or anything like that. But I had a few thoughts. So like certain sounds for me definitely. I think everyone is affected by sound because if you think about, any song, I bet most people, if you explain the concept of like major or minor to them, if they weren't familiar with it, they would be able to identify that with no musical, they can't play anything, they couldn't sing a lick of anything. But if you said, played them some Halloween movie song, they'd be like, oh, well, that's minor. And so obviously you've been socialized, you've learned that because you've seen a bunch of movies and oh, well, these kind of sounds are like scary or whatever. But I think even if you didn't see anything, I think maybe even an animal that has no concept of, music theory or movies or anything would be affected by a scary sound or that kind of harmony versus a happy song or like, Happy Birthday, which is a major song. But also, I just was trying to think of if I had any examples. I have heard stuff wrong with my car before. Just like, I think there was a belt tensioner or something that was going bad. This was years ago. And so anytime I would turn, it would make sort of this sound, but not like a alarming sound of like, oh, I need to take this to the shop right now. But it was just something that hadn't been there before. And another example, last week, I was watching my parents' house, and so I had set up my gaming computer on this different sound system, this different home theater, and Jen was playing a video game. And I was like, how are you playing that right now with that sound? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I muted the game, and there's like this drone sound. There's something happening. There's like a ground loop or something between the computer and this different home theater. And it was just deafening to me. It was like all I could hear, even in different parts of the house. I was like, I need to leave. Like, this is affecting me. Just this low hum. And it didn't bother her at all. She was sitting there playing the same game for hours. Never heard it.
Wow.
So that's another example. And then, anyone who would doubt their ability to develop their clairaudience or just hearing in general, and you spoke about your skills or ability atrophying. I know there's, people may have heard of perfect pitch, or the ability to,
Yep.
Name a note based on an input frequency with no reference sound.
Yes.
So like if you heard 440 or whatever, it's like, oh, that's an A. Well, I don't have that, but I have decent relative pitch. But over time, I've gained the ability to, like, I can play a low E on a guitar in my head, and so therefore tune an instrument without any input from another instrument or no other sound. And so I've had to train myself to where I can literally generate that same note sort of from memory, I guess. And I know I didn't have that before. And also just gotten stronger with my relative pitch also, and pitch matching with my voice. And that's just years of not even really me practicing that, but just the side effect of playing guitar, I guess, and listening to stuff all the time. So
Neil and Ben both decided to go ahead and pick up the reins of their own life from last week's episode about clairsentience, which was clear feeling. So to get everybody back on track, we talked about clear feeling and how we could learn to apply clear feeling and receive clear feeling to our life. So we want to hear how that went for them in complete honesty, because everybody stumbles and falls. Everybody has issues that they have to work through in this. We do not expect perfection. We just expect excellence, which means that you do what you say and that you're honest about it. So, who'd like to go first?
I chose meditation. It was 5 minutes every day. There was one day I didn't do it, and that was Halloween. That was the one day I missed, but I did do my 5 minutes in my dark, quiet room. And obviously I'm just starting this. And I think I'm doing the try. I'm trying, and I'm not giving myself over to the feeling. So I think 5 minutes is not enough. I think to really let that feeling sink in and allow it to come in and receive it. I think it needs to be longer meditation. How long do you normally meditate?
I don't even use a clock.
No,
so
right.
It's, yeah. In the beginning, we only choose a time because it'd be like saying, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, but I don't know when I'm gonna exercise.
Yeah. Right.
So we got to say, I'm gonna meditate. This is when I'm gonna do it, and this is how long I'm gonna do it. So you just start. You already have said that you have a feeling, sense that you need more time. So instead of me answering that question, I'd actually turn it back to you to intuitively ask yourself, if you need more time, what would be the perfect amount for you?
I probably don't need to apply a time limit to it. I just need to just go in my room and just sit there and let it happen, and just however long it takes. Just to see what I can feel, what I can see, sense. So I'm willing to do that and learn and be teachable.
Awesome.
Now, I didn't, because this was just my first time doing it, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. Maybe my anxiety was, keeping that stuff out. So I just need to get better control over the anxiety and the fear. And that's what it is. Because this is new to me. I'm not going to lie. It is. It's all new to me. But I'm open to seeing what can happen. Stay tuned. Continuing story. I'm interested to see what you
Mine was no blockers.
No blockers.
This past Monday. Didn't drink any beer or anything. So I don't think I had caffeine either. But anyway.
Nice.
A couple things happened. Nothing huge. One's sort of more serious, one's very casual and more clairvoyant, I suppose. But with some caveats that I would put forward. So the casual, more fun one was I have a Stratocaster that has a bridge that's got the whammy bar thing, you know, I'm talking about the Hendrix vibrato thing.
Yep.
So, in the back of those guitars, there's like springs that you install that allow it to sort of float and try and keep it more stable. So the springs, you know, expand as you're going down in pitch. And the one that I installed just sort of came with the guitar. It came from the guy that helped me build the guitar, basically. And I don't know what the alloy is or whatever. It's some kind of cheap, not stainless steel or anything, some like nickel plated something. And over time, the bridge has sort of like raised up off the guitar. I promise there's a point to all this. And I knew of other designs and I knew this company already, and so that's my caveat. But I was sort of picturing, you know, well, if the bevel on this part was this angle and, you know, the saddles were this width with this radius on the top and such, you know, this would be better. And I was focusing too, not just on the shape of it, but I knew that alloy that I had was too lightweight and not very durable. And so I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, oh, you know, you should check this out, and sent me this thing, and it was like exactly what I was picturing. And stainless steel.
There you go.
Fantastic.
So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that, and it actually came yesterday, and when I felt the weight of it, I was just like, oh yeah, that's stainless steel. Like, this is going to be perfect.
That's a good example.
So my caveat would be, you know, it's not pure intuition, because I would probably claim that I had maybe seen that before and just hadn't thought of it. And so my friend Thomas, you know, reminded me of it. But, you know, I maybe don't have full faith in my memory being that good that my picture in my mind could have been that accurate, if that makes sense, just from memory.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not convinced, but it could go either way. My other Monday experience is a little more serious. I won't go into huge details, but just had a little bit of a tense conflict with Jenna, my girlfriend. And I knew, for whatever reason, that what was happening was not really about me or anything that was occurring between us, and it was something with her family that was happening. So I guess I used that intuitive knowledge to sort of navigate that conflict, and also to just remind myself, you know, or give myself context of, no, don't do the yes dear, like what you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
because that's, you know, I don't need to be changing my behavior based on some third parties, not even just external, but third party thing. And
Did the conflict work itself out?
yeah, I mean, I sort of delicately introduced the idea that maybe I wasn't the genesis of that conflict, and it was fine in like an hour. So it did work out. And again, I would qualify that with, you know, I have knowledge of the situation already beyond me just, you know, being in the room with her and having the experience of those vibes or whatever, you know, you would call that, you know, nonverbal understanding between me and her. But yeah, I mean, it was like as soon as it started, I knew, you know, oh, well, this isn't about me burning the cheeseburgers or whatever it might have been. So yeah, that would be mine. That was my Monday
That was your
experience
Monday
in
experience.
too long of a version, but
So you just got to keep not trying, but
Applying.
I will
Applying.
say if the blockers had been there,
Yeah.
I would have run the risk of
saying something.
saying something that was not me talking, but was that talking, if
Yeah.
that makes sense,
Yeah.
or
So
lost my ability to have that context and
Right.
say, okay, well, this is why this is happening, and it's not anything that I'm doing right now. Does that make sense?
that does make sense.
So,
It's
That's why,
wonderful.
that's why they're called blockers. I'm sorry. Called blockers for a reason. That's a good example.
Both of them are great examples for you, and the example that Neil had as well, because these things aren't necessarily you sit down and lots of stuff happens, or you take the blocker away and all of a sudden you have 2 aha moments or more. You know, it's different for everybody. So it's actually an accomplishment, one, like with Neil, that you chose to make the commitment, 2, that you kept the commitment, especially to honesty,
Oh yeah.
that you applied it, you did the meditation. And something that most people aren't aware of is that it is an accomplishment to notice what you notice. Reason being, that is your greatest teacher, is what is your awareness noticing. So if you're noticing, for example, anxiety, that actually means that that's something that could use some extra attention for whatever reason. And I'm happy to work with you on that, or you can also do that on your own by applying some of the other tips from a previous show. But what that means is it's kind of like when you notice something, it might almost be like a kid who's been poking at you for a really long time. Can we go outside and play? Can we go outside and play? Can we go outside and play? No, give me 5 minutes. I just need to finish doing the dishes or whatever it might be. They go away without any fuss. They come back 5 minutes, exactly on the dot.
Oh yeah.
Can we go outside and play? Can we go outside and play? Can we go outside and play? Well, now we're going to name that child anxiety. Okay? If we've told it to go away for whatever's underneath driving that anxiety, if we've told it to go away for years, it's screaming by now. So when you finally open yourself up, even through meditation, that screaming child is what needs to be addressed first. Because it's been waiting a long time.
Yeah, I've never done anything to deal with anxiety.
And the joy of this is that most people don't realize that it's not dealing, you don't have to deal with it, you don't have to manage it. The reason the anxiety is there is because there is an unmet need, or something that needs to have love, care, attention, support. It's that. I mean, there are other things involved in your own healing and the energy in your soul and all the things that go along with that. But it is that simple, just on a level of knowing what needs to be done. The how is a little bit more involved, and it's not just what you can do with your thinking. Okay.
Right.
But you've actually done a lot by what you've done already. So it's a great step. Wonderful. Do you feel like that's something that you wish to continue with in your commitment?
Oh yes. Yes.
Excellent.
When I was meditating, I did feel peaceful. It was quiet and dark, and I'm just sitting there, eyes closed, trying to get the thoughts, trying to open my mind. And it is a peaceful feeling. It really is. So yes, I will continue that.
Wonderful. And what you're experiencing is completely normal.
Well, sure
That there'll
it is.
be peaceful moments, and then there will be some thought that comes through. And then it's our opportunity to learn what to do with it. And if we can do that in meditation, then we can also apply that to real life.
Mm-hmm.
So when a thought comes in, we can decide what to do with it instead of just reacting.
Right.
So I'm curious, does your experience from Monday have any effect on your perception of yourself in relation to blockers?
Yes, I mean it's instilled the knowledge, at least, or the curiosity of, what else could you be missing, or what else with practice could be discerned or perceived.
I'm thrilled to hear that, because the same way that you could hear that deafening low hum and Jenna could not, most people are living like that with their intuition.
Mhm.
They can't connect with it because they're too busy distracting themselves with a blocker of some sort. It's, I hear you knocking.
But you can't come.
Nice work, guys.
Thanks.
This is wonderful. So, Neil is going to continue. Yes, you are.
Yes,
What
I
are
am.
you going to choose to commit to for next week?
More of meditation, but longer. And longer stretches to see if that and what I can sense, hear, and see.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear about that. That will be wonderful. And should you choose to discuss ways that you can better lovingly handle your thoughts and be more in control of your thoughts rather
Right.
than them running you,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to walk through some tips and tools in a private meeting to talk through that with you.
Okay.
So we can touch base with that next week and see if that's something that you're ready for, or if you need a little more time working on meditation.
Okie doke.
Excellent. And Mr. Ben, what are you going to commit to for next week?
It occurs to me that it's not super sustainable to be blocking everything all the time. So, instead of just a day, I would strive maybe to get through the majority of each day with no blockers. And I would, even coffee probably I would include in that, because I like my espresso in the morning. Wake up and get wired and make your tummy hurt.
You're gonna go through withdrawals. Do it slow and steady.
I'm
Do you not get? You don't get like that?
dependent
Okay, good.
on the caffeine.
Good.
It's always just the one shot in the
Yeah.
morning.
Okay.
But could be. I could see it maybe having an effect. So maybe keep the blockers in the evenings. Not pick a specific day, but just change my timing.
Are you open to thoughts, suggestions, experience? Okay, my experience in working with folks, including myself, is that if I have a meandering goal, that's about how my progress goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm planning to.
No, I really think it's wonderful that you had such a great experience on your first time. You had some really heavy-hitting experiences to really make sure that you knew the effect of the blockers and your abilities when you don't use them.
Mm.
So now that you know the value of it, there's that part of you who says, I know I should maybe do this more often. I'd like to do it. I'd like to do it every day, but I'm not really sure that I'm ready to commit that far. This is where we fall off the apple cart. So, from my experience in working with people, find yourself a happy medium that you actually can commit to, because you actually committed to one day.
I did.
Now, even just taking another week at one day to prove to yourself that you're going to do it is still success. Because it's 2 whole days that you wouldn't have had 2 weeks before that, okay?
True.
So each time you make a decision, the goal here is when you're successful in making a decision, all of you is all in.
Yeah.
There isn't that part of you that says, I'm going to do it while I'm still on TV, but as soon as that's over, it's back to the, bar, whatever, okay? So let's go back to the question I asked you is, what are you willing to commit to? What's for your best good? Not to just show off to everybody who's watching, okay? What's good for you? What's best for you? And if you also have the right, if you need time to think about it on your own, make your own decision on your commitment later and come back and tell us what that was and what you did, that's okay too. But what are your thoughts?
She's called me out, Neil.
With love.
So to address my own lack of confidence, but also give a stronger, more concrete plan, I will do Monday again, the same way I did.
Excellent.
There you go.
Excellent.
More,
And I want you to
stronger plan.
yes, and I want you to give yourself some credit on that choice, not just because you're committing to another day, which is something worth credit for to give yourself credit for. Another accomplishment that you've done is that you have very well potentially averted failure. Because when we set our goals too high and we don't achieve them, then we fail and then we go back farther. It's like when you lose 5 pounds, you say, look, I lost 5 pounds. I could probably eat a little more for dinner. And we do that 5-6 times and we actually gain more than we lost to begin with.
And it just increases more anxiety into your life.
Because of the failure. So averting failure is actually just setting realistic goals. But the only way we can actually do that is when we know our whole self, the part that wants to and the part that doesn't want to, and why, and get them to talk to each other. And that's what I know how to do.
Yes, she does.
So I'm glad that we can do that together.
And you'll find out if you do the Zoom thing. On Friday, the Zoom conference on Friday.
And now, it's Metaphysical Tool Time. Today's tools consist of a stone, animal, flower, and plant. As always, the information included is for educational and entertainment purposes only and are not a substitute for medical or professional advice. As always, you are fully responsible for your choices. We do not encourage the worship of any healing tool mentioned in this or any other video. We do encourage everyone to appreciate the divinity within everything. Let's begin with today's stone. Ben, what can you share with us about labradorite?
I retrieved the I couldn't resist that. The following information is from healingcrystalsforyou.com. Any of the chakra stones for the soul star chakra, the crown chakra, the third eye chakra, and the throat chakra can help develop clairaudience. You may choose to hold these stones in your hand, wear them, or lay them on the chakra points in the body. Do what feels right to you. Labradorite stone earrings are said to help you to hear the voice of the spirit. So this is one of the first stones that you might use to aid the development of clairaudience, as well as other intuitive gifts. Dendritelab.com lists labradorite as a low-key gray stone with a big surprise. When cut correctly for proper angle, high-quality material displays a bright flash of colors. Colors from the blue and yellow-orange portions of the visible light spectrum jump forth from the darker base stone. Only a small percentage of all the labradorite mined is of high enough quality to make jewelry. Most of it is considered B-grade with little or no flash. Labradorite is a feldspar, with a hardness of approximately 6 on the Mohs hardness scale. It was first discovered in the late 1700s in Labrador, Canada. Since then, deposits have been noted in Finland, Russia, Australia, Mexico, the US, and Madagascar. And according to native Eskimo Indian legend, the northern lights are a result of the freed up colors from labradorite.
Thank you, Ben. Our healing creature is quite unexpected and has the best hearing known to mankind. Neil, would you share with us about the insect and its pertinence to today's topic?
I will. And it's not going to be the animal everyone thinks. Ha ha ha. Here we go. The following information is from allhearinghealthusa.com. In both the animal and the human kingdoms, moths have recently been labeled as having the best hearing in the world. You heard me right, moths. To evade the threat of predators, scientists believe the moth's hearing has evolved to extraordinary levels. They can even hear at a higher frequency than bats, ensuring they can escape from danger before an attack comes their way. After the moth, other animals on the list with excellent hearing are, of course, the bat, owl, elephant, dog. Rudy the Wonder Dog can hear everything from 5 miles away and howls at it. Cat, horse, and dolphin. Wikipedia lists that moth larvae or caterpillars make cocoons from which they emerge as fully grown moths with wings. Some moth caterpillars dig holes in the ground, where they live until they are ready to turn into adult moths. Moths evolved long before butterflies. Moth fossils have been found that may be 190 million years old. Both moths and butterflies are thought to have co-evolved with flowering plants, mainly because most modern species, both as adults and larvae, feed on flowering plants. One of the earliest known species that is thought to be an ancestor of moths is Archaeolepis main. Its fossil fragments show scaled wings that are similar to caddisflies in their veining. Today, some moths are farmed for their economic value, and the most notable of these is the silkworm. It is farmed for the silk with which it builds its cocoon. According to commonobjective.co, global annual silk production sits at around 202,000 metric tons per year and makes up about 0.24% of total fiber use. However, as a predominantly luxury item, silk commands a per unit price of around $15 per kilo, making the value of production around $3.03 billion a year. Larvae of many species are also used as food, particularly in Africa, where they are an important source of nutrition. In one country alone, Congo, more than 30 species of moth larvae are harvested. Some are sold not only in the local village markets, but are shipped by the ton from one country to another. Also of note, some studies indicate that certain species of moths may be the key pollinators for some flowering plants in the Himalayan ecosystem, and that they are vital nocturnal pollinators of a wide range of plants. It's a lot of good info on the moth.
Nicely done, Neil. And today's plants are rooibos and chrysanthemum, used in the form of tea. So a good cup of tea is a lovely way to warm ourselves up during the fall and winter season while also improving our health. Healthline.com lists rooibos tea, also called red tea or red bush tea, as a traditional herbal beverage made from the unfermented brown or unfermented green leaves of a South African shrub called Aspalathus linearis. It is consumed and compared in taste to regular black tea or green tea, although rooibos is lower in tannins, free from caffeine and oxalic acid, and also contains antioxidants. Antioxidants may help protect cells from damage from free radicals, which may reduce the risk of illnesses such as heart disease and cancer. Although not a good source of vitamins or minerals, rooibos tea does provide copper, an essential nutrient which helps us maintain healthy bones, blood vessels, nerves, and immune function, and contributes to iron absorption and the formation of red blood cells, all important things. Rooibos tea also contains fluoride, which rebuilds and remineralizes weakened tooth enamel, slows down the loss of minerals from tooth enamel, and reverses early signs of tooth decay. Rooibos tea may also benefit heart health by positively affecting blood pressure. It may also lower bad LDL cholesterol and raise good HDL cholesterol in those at risk of heart disease. We have spoken about chrysanthemum before, but as a flower and its other healing benefits. But today it's about tea. TheKey.com lists that chrysanthemum tea is made by infusing water with the whole chrysanthemum flower, which releases a wide variety of antioxidants, organic compounds, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and soothing chemicals into the water, making it one of the most nourishing and delightful to drink. Its medicinal uses have been known for centuries, making it highly sought after by natural healers. For generations, chrysanthemum tea is listed as promoting deep relaxation. It helps lower blood pressure, cool the body, and reduce inflammation, all of which can help to induce calmness. The powerful antioxidants and minerals present in the infusion can help your body better regulate itself and eliminate unnecessary stress hormones from the blood. Lower blood pressure and relief from coronary artery issues are also a benefit. By lowering blood pressure and cholesterol levels, some reports even say that this infusion of chrysanthemum flowers and water can be a long-term preventative measure for different cardiovascular issues, such as heart attack and strokes, as well as atherosclerosis. This lowered blood pressure is mainly attributed to the potassium content of the infusion of the flowers in hot water, as potassium is a vasodilator. Chrysanthemum also aids in skin. It's rich in beta-carotene, which breaks down into vitamin A to serve different purposes in the body. Vitamin A behaves like an antioxidant in many ways, and therefore eliminates oxidative stress and damaged cells in the organ systems around the body. Chrysanthemum infusion has long been used topically as well for this reason. It can clear up skin irritation, redness, chronic conditions such as eczema, and even psoriasis. It also helps to generally reduce the signs of aging as well as wrinkles and blemishes thanks to the antioxidant content of the flowers. So, to sum things up, if we want to become more clairaudient, we can open up and allow more intuitive information to flow to us by not caring what other people think, taking good care of ourselves, spending time quietly in nature, wearing a labradorite, watching a documentary about moths, and enjoying a cup of rooibos or chrysanthemum tea. So what say ye? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments section, and let's learn to get more connected to our intuition together. As always, we thank you for watching and sharing time with us. If you liked today's show, we'd be honored if you'd hit the like button and let us know that you like what we're doing. And hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive all new shows, and hit the share button to share this message with people you care about. We ask for these things because each time you like, subscribe, or share our videos, they become more visible via YouTube, which allows more new people to find and watch the video and receive inspiration and tools for their healing. Your likes, your shares support healing and connection, and that's what we're all about. And to receive free goodies from us, see our other YouTube channels, buy Laura's book, and get registered to meet us on Fridays. Check out our description box. If you'd like some personal one-on-one support, schedule your complimentary conversation with me by clicking the link in the description box, or go to willyougrow.com to learn more, and I'll look forward to speaking with you soon. And for now, we bid you adieu. Take excellent care of your very fine self, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Always with love, I send to you, from Angelique.
If you'd like to buy the book Angelique described in today's show, it's available to purchase by following the link in the description box. By purchasing through that link, you will be supporting your own learning, the publisher, and will you. Just click the link in the description box to buy your book about practical intuition. For more information about programs offered by Will You, mentoring with Angelique, and to watch video success stories from clients, explore willyougrow.com. If you or your company are interested in inspiring our mutual audience by sponsoring this or another of our programs, let's talk about it. Boost viewer confidence and trust in your company. Call 1-833-WILL-YOU, then press extension number 6. Make sure to click the subscribe button to get reminders before upcoming shows.